Anarchast.
Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of Anarchast, your home for anarchy on the internet. I have a good friend and a person I greatly admire, Luke Rudkowski of WeAreChange on. He's an independent journalist and an activist. He's been around for a long time. You can actually start to tell he's growing a little older now. He's got some wrinkles and stuff.
Oh, come on.
It's probably from constantly chasing down Henry Kissinger and then having to be very aware of people following him afterwards and things like that. Luke really gets in people's faces, and which is great, which is what journalists are supposed to do. Of course, today in the U.S. or around the world, and really, journalists are just newsreaders. They just read teleprompters, and there is very little investigative journalist anymore at all. And so that's why independent media is so important. So that's why I'm really glad to have Luke on. And he's just recently announced that he's going to launch, or he has launched, Change Media University, which I think is really important, and I really want to promote it. And I want to let people out there know that forget about 4 years of journalism school where you're going to go hundreds of thousands of dollars into debt and come out just knowing how to read a teleprompter like Barack Obama. Luke really knows the insides and outs of really investigative journalism. So first of all, Luke, great to see you again.
Thank you. My wrinkly self is very happy to be back on your show.
Well, you're not that wrinkly, but I can tell you, 10 years ago,
okay.
you looked younger. You looked
fine.
younger 10 years ago. It's sort of like Barack Obama. He's starting to look, getting some gray hairs going there, too. I don't know.
Barack Obama's chain smoking. He's having ulcers. He is freaking out, and he has every right to freak out. He's on a sinking ship. I mean, like, look what you're in charge of. You're in charge of 1984, the book put in real life. And you're supposed to tell people war is peace. No, like, we know it's not. You're supposed to defend rectal forced feeding, torture by the CIA. I would just really stress out if I had to defend that kind of line. I mean, seriously, the guy has to say, like, okay, let's not tell the world how we rectally fed and tortured some innocent human beings. Some guilty human beings, but some innocent human beings, and we have to stand by that position.
Well, let me be clear. We torture some folks.
Yeah, exactly. It's just utter insanity what's happening. But I've been doing this for over 12 years now. So after 12 years, of course, you're going to see some signs of wear and tear. We've been through the gauntlet many times, whether it's the Bush administration, whether it's the Obama administration, we're always active. And as people know, I mean, when Bush was in power, we had Bill O'Reilly calling us jihad-loving liberals on Fox News. Now that Barack Obama is in power, Chris Matthews of MSNBC calls us right-wing teabagging racist extremists. So going through all this confusion takes a couple years off of you, but you know, no fear here. We're moving vastly forward, and we're doing a lot of work, and it's been extremely exciting to be a part of.
Yeah, you are. I've been saying all the work you're doing. You're constantly busy, constantly on the go, chasing down the real stories in real places, which is amazing. So if you don't know WeAreChange, you guys got to check it out. And it's not just Luke, as Luke might point out, that he just started it, I think it was about 10 years ago. Is that right?
Well, WeAreChange has been active since 2006, but I've been active in the movement even before that. So since 2006, we got our baby start here in New York City, and we never even expected this thing to grow out of New York City. But at the biggest point, we had, 250 chapters all over the world of WeAreChange chapters in Japan and Australia and India, even in Iran. I think that one lasted for a few weeks, but it was there. It was there. So seeing that growth, seeing it grow from nothing in New York City was really just an amazing moment.
Yeah, and it all grew organically. You really weren't planning it all. People just popped up, and I think it's really important. And I'd love to see a WeAreChange in every city and every country on Earth, and that'd be great. And that's why it's so important that people can learn so much of what you've learned over the years about how to be an investigative and independent journalist. And you've just launched Change Media University, where you're going to have numerous courses online to instruct people on all the things that you've learned.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Change Media University is a project that I've been working on for almost this entire year. It's something that is really hard to put together because there's not one answer, there's not one solution to being free and independent journalists, especially in this day and age where trying to survive is virtually impossible and people have to work 3 jobs to pay off their debt that they got through college and never live their lives fully. I mean, just think about the way society is run right now. As a kid growing up, you're forced to pick a career when you're too young, too unexperienced, you don't know what you're doing, you're stuck picking one way, and you're learning outdated information that's not even relevant because everything keeps changing. You go through this horrible degree, you pay all this money, you go out there in the job market, there's no job, but there's a shitty job here that you could work for, but you have to be that slave. You have to work that corporate horrible job, do what you don't want to do, work nonstop, only get 2 paid vacation weeks, an entire year. You're paying off your debt. You have to pay off your car loans, your mortgage. You have to maybe even live with your parents. And then you look back at your life and you did nothing. You never challenged yourself. You never experienced anything. You never lived your life because you kept doing what the machine told you to do. So knowing that, I said, screw this. I am never, ever, I worked a lot of crappy jobs in my life. I did security guards. I did personal training. I was a janitor. I freaking made sales calls. I made phone sales calls. I went to door-to-doors. I sold vacuums door-to-door. No joke. Like, no joke. I did everything. It was horrible. And
vacuums door-to-door.
My God. I had about 12 jobs in the span of about 6 months. I hated working for people. I just jumped from one thing to another because I knew that what I really wanted in life, what would make me happy is not money. Even though you still need money, but what would make me happy is challenging myself, the experiences, being able to travel, being able to do what I naturally want to do, being able to say whatever I want to say without worrying if I piss off a boss. So creating this path for myself, money was never something I really, really cared about. It was never something I really gone after, but obviously you needed to survive. So I've been able to clear this path for me that has changed my life for the better. I can't tell you how much my life how different it is compared to selling vacuums, compared to personal training, being a janitor, being a security guard, and making all these mistakes throughout the last 12 years, learning the game inside and out, learning what to do and what not to do. I was like, it's only fair if I provide this opportunity to everybody else. And that's why we created Change Media University. It's a 15-chapter course, and we're adding chapters every month. I'm going to try to add new chapters every month as we grow. About 4 of them every month now, but it's from A to Z. How to get your brand, how to get your niche, how to get your website, how to optimize your website, how to use keywords, how to monetize your content, how to get a press credential, how to find events, how to cover protests, how to confront people, how to get past securities, editing videos, you name it, from A to Z. If you want to get your voice heard out there, and it's not only for being an independent journalist, if you want your voice heard, if you want to be effective getting your message across, if you want to be good at looking for the truth and hunting down the truth and exposing it, this is the perfect seminar for you.
Yeah, and it's definitely the future. And people, when I first saw you launch Change Media University, I was reading some of the comments, and most of the comments were, "What? This is too cheap." And I agree. I think for all the things that you're offering people who want to get into this area of expertise or area of work, which I think is going to be a growing industry, you can just see the mainstream media is just dying. You look at all the stats. I just wrote the beautiful death of CNN recently on the Dollar Vigilante. No one watches it anymore, and if they do watch it, they're mostly just laughing at it because they know it's propaganda for the most part. And so this is going to be the future. And for, I believe, $150 for your course, if you take all the courses, I think you're offering them individually as well. Is that right?
It's a complete package. High school students actually get the courses for free. So if you're a high school student, I believe in this so much. And there's many reasons. And there's other people who have different comments about this. But everything you learn in college right now is outdated. It's not like everything online is changing so rapidly, so quickly. The AP style daybook, the kind of inverted pyramid writing scheme, let me tell you where that came from and why it's still being used. During the Civil War in the United States, to send telegraphs, it had to cost a lot of money. So newspapers used to cram everything that they could in the very first sentence, in the very first paragraph, because it cost a lot of money to send telegraphs, to send signals, what the news was all over the United States. So they invented this style called the inverted pyramid. And with this inverted pyramid, they put all the news in front. It's outdated. It's not relevant to what's really what people want, what people are interested in. And we're still using it. Everything's still back from history and history. It doesn't work anymore. But if you know the changing media landscape, if you could advance, if you could adapt towards it, nothing is impossible, and you could really effectively get your message across. I mean, just a simple small media organization, there's no leaders in WeAreChange. There's no organizers. There's nothing. Like, if people want to start a chapter, do their own thing, they're more than welcome to. But just with us, 250 chapters all over the world. I mean, we made it to almost every single media publication you could think of, whether it's Fox, MSNBC, Bullcrap N, Crap News Network, CNN, Rolling Stones, Drudge, Huffington Post, front page of Reddit, like, you name it. Every major media publication, we were on the top once throughout WeAreChange's career. So the potential of getting your voice heard and being effective is very important. Now, another thing people are telling me is, like, Luke, why would you want competition? Why would you want other journalists who are going to be out there in this field who are going to take away business from you? So that's another question I get asked a lot. And to me, it's not about a business thing, because I know together as a movement, when we're in this kind of new kind of dichotomy where people are understanding the true power they have themselves to tell the world the truth, when we're seeing this world come up, it's really fight or flight. It's a do or die situation. We are at a time and point where the internet is still free. One person, one soul, one human being could get their voice heard throughout the world with a matter of seconds. They still haven't taken that power away from us. But speaking truth to power is incredibly important if you know exactly what's happening in the U.S. government system. If we all don't take this power and use it to the fullest potential, if we all don't take advantage of this situation, there might not be another situation in the future. So to me, this is an urgent cause. I want more investigative journalists out there. I want more reporters out there. And also with this course, you also get a chance to submit some of your work and get critiques on some of your work, something that other institutions don't offer at all.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And he brought up a great point about going to school and how outdated it is. I also started when I was 18. I went to a community college because my mom forced me to. She thought I had to go to school to learn something, college or university, nothing like Change Media University, which is actually valuable and only takes a few days and only costs a little bit of money and even free for high school kids. That's amazing. So I decided to go to Mass Media 101 was the name of the class I was in a mass media course in 1989, and they were teaching me. They just had these Macs, and for our younger viewers, they probably don't even know what they look like. They had those little tiny green screens or gray screens, and the teachers didn't even know how to use them, but they were trying to teach us these things, like how to write a press release with like the hashtag at the end and all that. And I said, this is ridiculous. You guys even know that no one uses this stuff anymore? It's all computerized. And they kicked me out of the course within 1 month because I was telling them they didn't know what they were doing. And then about a year exactly to the day in 1999, I was running a media company worth $240 million. So it just goes to show that a lot of this stuff, especially media, is changing so fast that to go to a 4-year college course is a complete waste of time. You're going to learn things that don't even get used anymore. So as well, we're going to be having something at Anarchapulco right here on the beach behind me in February 27th to March 1st. On February 26th, you're going to be actually doing a live Change Media University, which I'm really looking forward to. And I'm hoping to also be there and maybe give a short talk on how to start a media organization, because I've started many in my life, including Stockhouse Media Corporation, which was worth, like I said, $240 million at the peak of the internet bubble. I started the Dollar Vigilante, which has turned into quite a large media organization. So we'll be talking about that. And we're also going to have Dan Dix there of Press for Truth, who's very similar to your style. He started up his own independent media company in Canada that's doing very well. He's also going to be involved. So this is going to be an incredible event. We're going to have you on the beach. It's going to be actually February 26th. And it's actually, if people sign up in the next few days, we're going to increase the rates very soon. I haven't announced the date yet, but it'll probably be in the next week or so. Right now, it's only $95 just to sign up for 7 hours with you, Dan Dix, and myself on the beach, talking whatever anyone wants to talk about. It's going to be a very open, what people want to know. We'll be asking people what they want to know and talking about that. And maybe you could talk a little bit more about what you plan to do here at Anarchapulco.
See, I'm really excited about that, especially with Dan Dix. People don't know, me and Dan Dix were recently arrested in Copenhagen, Denmark, when we questioned the Bilderberg group. And then on Twitter, Free Dix was trending all over the place. And it was an amazing time where people from online, people from the US, from Canada, even from Mexico, were calling saying free dicks, calling the embassy, the consulate, the police station that we were at, and then we were released without charges because we did nothing wrong. We were asking the Bilderberg committee what they were doing for some transparency and for some oversight. They demanded to delete our footage. We said no. The police came, said that they were going to plant drugs on us and throw us in jail. And only because of the people power were we able to leave. And hashtag free Dix. So I'm excited with Dan Dix being a part of this as well. He's a great guy. He's been doing this for a while. He's definitely a very professional media cinematographer. He does amazing documentaries as well. But what I'm really happy about is being able to work with you one-on-one. If I'm able to see you, if I'm able to talk to you, I could work out all your kinks. You could interact with me as I'm teaching you from A to Z how to do everything. And I could think of really exciting training drills that we could do, that we could put into action. I don't know how many people you have, Jeff, down there, but if you have some volunteers, I want to create like a football running course where different faces will come up. You'll have to dodge security, diplomatically, of course. I want to create a whole football training course where we actually not just sit there in a boring classroom and listen to Luke talk about how to do this and this. No, there's things that I can't show you. There's things that I can't change, and I can't work with you on personally unless I'm with you face to face. You could get the videos. The videos are great, but having that opportunity one-on-one is going to be, one, really fun. Two, all the little personal things that could be customized for you will be customized for you. And again, there's so many different avenues. There's so many different paths that you could go on. I've learned what works and I learned what doesn't work. So that option's open. And of course, it's going to translate a little bit better than video. The videos, the chapters, they're still great. On Change Media University, but that, again, one-on-one is something that you can't really get anywhere else. I've been trying to do this in New York City. People don't know this. My audience doesn't even know this. For Change Media University, we launched an Indiegogo campaign, and we tried to raise $100,000 so we could actually do this in New York City, so we could actually bring students in, bring high school students in, bring anybody, have a community center, and teach people one-on-one how to do this. We didn't promote the Indiegogo well at all. I went to Europe and I got arrested and I was traveling and I lost sight of what I was supposed to do, and we only got $1,000 out of $150,000 that we were asking for. But now this opportunity, we were able to still, I spent $500 on graphics, $700 on a video editor, but everything else I was able to put together this whole full program. It took a lot longer than it should have, only because I had very limited funds to make it happen, and I wanted to make it happen perfectly and professionally, and it's finally done, and it's finally up there, and it's called Change Media University. But now, finally, we're going to have an opportunity to be with you one-on-one and work together and do some really fun things and make your first video. You will make your first video. You will have everything set up and ready to go when we meet in Mexico.
Yeah, and I'll be one of the people sitting in the class because one of the things that I've been very bad at is audio and video sort of things. It took me years to get a half-decent camera going, to actually learn how to focus it, to learn what kind of equipment.
7K video camera, and I'm like, what are you doing?
I'm not very good at this stuff. I'm holding my microphone right now because I couldn't put my mic stand together in the last hour or so because I got a new microphone. Because my last microphone, as I didn't know, was for recording like concert hall music, and it picks up sounds, so you're hearing like dogs from down the street. So actually, Angel Clark, I don't know if you know them, Angel Clark hosts a radio show, and she just moved down to Acapulco, and her significant other, famous Dave, bought me for my birthday a couple of weeks ago this microphone I'm using, a Shure SM58, which isn't actually all that expensive. It's a lot cheaper than the one I had, but it's way better for what I needed. I didn't even know that. I don't even know what kind of mic stands I need. These are just basic things. So I'm going to be very interested to learn from you and Dan Dix on all these sort of things. And maybe I can trade you my 7K camera if you like it so much.
It's definitely not necessary with technology the way it is now and televisions the way they are now. Unless you're doing full-on movies and movie theaters, then you need a 7K camera. But another thing with Change Media University, we actually laid out 3 different platforms, 3 possible equipment sets that you could buy. One of them is from $80 to $280, and that one's called the Chris Matthews Going for Broke equipment set. We have another mid-level, which is about $700 to $900, which is the Rand Paul Conundrum. It's not great, it's not bad, it's somewhere in the middle. And then we have the Ready for Rockefeller kit, which is about $2,000 something to $3,000. All the numbers are in Change Media University, but then if you go inside that university, you will have an option to buy an equipment kit that works for you with your budget. but also what your needs, specializing in what you need to do. So we also broke down that very important part because, again, doing a little research, okay, what mic do I use? What camera do I use? How do I, do this professionally? There's so many things to figure out. We figured it out for you. It's all there ready for you. This is just a whole shortcut kind of curriculum that you will learn everything you need to learn.
Yeah, I wish this existed a few years ago because I didn't know. And it's so hard to just go on the internet and just try to figure it out. There's so many different little things. And if you don't know someone who's doing the kind of things that you want to do, you've learned through, I'm sure you've gone through dozens of cameras and mics and stuff, right? Figuring out exactly what's best. And so I just threw tons of money at it. Like I said, I have this Blackmagic cinematography camera, which is ridiculous for what I need, but someone told me to buy it and I bought it. So I'm very interested to hear about these packages. Maybe I'll get the full, what's it called? Running After Rockefeller?
The Ready for Rockefeller. The Ready for Rockefeller equipment.
It'd still be way cheaper than what I've spent so far. And it'd be so much better. I've just got all the wrong equipment. I'm slowly learning this. And so that's why a thing like Change Media University could be so valuable to people if they want to get into this. And of course, this is the future, YouTube videos and doing live streaming, which I'm sure you can talk about as well, which is going to be the next real wave of the reporting.
Yeah, it's still, live streaming hasn't picked up as much as YouTube has. It's still not on the same level, but with the future advancing as it is right now with technology, it is going to be very comprehensible. It's going to be very equal to YouTube. But it's all so changing. But right now, YouTube is the main platform. We do live streaming whenever we can. We just got new equipment to live stream as well, and that's it's very important. You have to get the equipment. You have to make the mistakes. I returned a lot of equipment. Some of it was broken by police, but then I got other equipment that I learned how to use. So learning these aspects, learning how to effectively be ready to, in one click of a button, to have something live, ready, recorded, where the police, even if they do take your camera, even if they do take your cell phone and destroy it, there will still be a record of it online. That's also the one thing that also saved me in Switzerland. There's two ways you could do a live stream, or you could do an automatic backup with your phone. Whenever the cop said he's charging me with drugs and tried to stop me from filming, I clicked the one button and automatically it's up to the cloud. He deleted some of my video footage, but once I told him, like, dude, it's in the cloud. You're not going to be able to get me and frame me for drugs. Sorry, it's not going to happen. Once he did that, he stopped deleting my video footage. And then even if they do delete your footage, we have ways where we could get that back from you. And we have those resources available on WeAreChange as well. If police delete your footage, you could get it back. All those resources are available. Some of them are even free online that we released. We're going to create a playlist of just the free videos we did from how to. But the complete package is up on there. Live streaming, yes, it's an extremely good safety net for your own security. No matter what you're doing, even if you think you're totally innocent, you never know when that one time, that one traffic stop, that one random checkpoint that you're going to be stuck at, that some crooked cop may try to set you up for something that you're not guilty of at all. And again, this is not even just for young people who want to be journalists. This is also for, this class could also be used for, ethical businesses who are doing something good that other horrible businesses are not doing. If you want to go expose that horrible business that's doing unethical things, you now have ways to do that. You now have the tools and the abilities to get to those people. If you want to promote something that you're doing that helps other people, this is the perfect kind of class for you, because it also deals with that situation as well. Young, old, it doesn't matter. Whatever you are, it's never too late to take charge of your life, of your destiny, and start living your life as if it was a dream.
Absolutely. And maybe we should have a short course at the Change Media University here in Anarchapulco on staying out of jail, and if you go to jail, how to get out of jail, because I've been in jail. I've been arrested many times actually in the U.S., and I've figured out ways to get out of it. I escaped from jail twice in one night in St. Kitts once. And I know you...
And then joined me in Miami a couple hours afterwards.
Yeah.
Still feeling the pain from those couple nights.
Yeah, and I know you've been beat up and arrested, not to to scare anyone who wants to get into independent media. Not many people push the limit like you do, but that can happen. So to have the experience, and this is another reason why I think coming to a place like Anarchapulco and actually meeting people like yourself and Dan Dix is so important, because if you do really get into more independent media sort of things and you really push the envelope, and let's say you do end up in jail at wherever you guys were in Europe, you will actually know people like Luke and Dan personally. So when you email and you go, hey, I was just trying to expose Henry Kissinger or George Bush or any of these war criminals, you can just sort of send a message, and Luke will be like, oh yeah, I remember you from the beach. Yeah, let's put out a thing and try to get you out of jail, things like that. So it's good to have a network as well.
Yeah, we teach really great fetal positions on how to hide when you're getting beat. No, seriously, in all seriousness, if you do put yourself in dangerous positions and you did nothing wrong, I will obviously try to help you out as much as you can. Another thing, any student of Change Media University will be put on a network where we're all able to share each other's work, share each other's homework, because there is homework in this university. You're not going to just listen to the videos and everything's going to happen. No, you have homework, specific things you have to do to become a journalist. But you will have tasks that you have to do. And of course, if something bad happens to you when you did nothing wrong, we could allow our networks to help you out, whether it's finding lawyers. But then also we have other tips. I remember I was in jail sometimes and the police took everything away from me and sent me to another jail with nothing on me, no phone numbers, nothing. And I wasn't able to remember friends' phone numbers, and I was screwed, and it was raining and it was cold and I had no other options. But one thing I started doing now is, even on the bottom of my shoes, I take out the lace and I write down phone numbers. So I always have phone numbers on the bottom of my shoelaces, not the shoelaces, but the bottom of the shoe sole. So I'm always ready to have contact information. There's also other little tips and tricks that I probably shouldn't share publicly out there to everybody, but there's a lot of them. There's a lot of little things that you could do that could really change a really horrible situation into something that could really help you out in the long run.
Yeah, there's a lot of tips and tricks that not only Luke can tell you, but I can tell you about many things. And so that's why I think for many people, if you're interested at all in getting into this space, which you should be if you have any sort of interest in this space, this is the future by far, then you should definitely come down to Anarchapulco and learn from the people. These are the top people. I can't think of any independent media people bigger than Luke Rudkowski and Dan Dix. I'm sure you might know of a few, Luke, but I can't think of too many other than yourselves.
I mean, there's a lot of people out there who are finally making a name for themselves, who are out there in different cities and different counties. Now, if we could organize it, if we could all hone on our skills, we could get rid of the mainstream media. That's the plan. Make the mainstream media irrelevant by doing their job better. If we could do that, imagine the kind of world we would be living in if we would know everything that's happening, if there was no propaganda, if there was no lies. And this is why I chose media. This is why I chose to be a journalist, because the mainstream media, they have all the power. They can make the innocent look guilty and the guilty look innocent, and they have throughout numbers of years. They're the ones who are responsible for the war in Iraq, the war in Afghanistan. Without their propaganda, without them being a checks and balances, which they should have been, we would have never been in this mess like we are now. With proper investigative journalism, with stepping our game up, with saying, you know what, instead of having shaky, cruddy picture from this thing, no, we're going to take this professionally. We're going to organize. We're going to link up. We're going to all have our independent media outlets, and we're going to come together, organize, communicate with each other, and we're going to shame the mainstream media, not only into covering what they should be covering, but we're going to shame them so bad that they're not going to have a job anymore, because they're not going to have any opportunities to tell the news, because the whole audience left, and they left for the truth. They left for something that can't be bought out. And it's that very idea that we could change the world with information, peacefully, diplomatically, in a non-aggressive way. And it's virtually possible. It could happen tomorrow.
Absolutely.
It could happen with you.
Absolutely, it can. I'd love to see Pierce Morgan sort of working as a vacuum sales cleaner, going door to door, or a janitor in the next few years, which is what he deserves. Have you been listening to what he's been saying lately?
No, I refuse.
Yeah, I don't look for it, but it just comes up on my screens. People always send me stuff, and so of course he was trying to do take away everyone's guns. He's not even from the U.S. He's from the UK, and he started with taking away everyone's guns, and now what's he saying? He wants. I don't even want to say it because it's so ridiculous, but yeah, that's the mainstream media, and they're going away. And that's one great point you brought up, Luke, is that if we have enough of these really good independent journalists around the world, and they're putting out good stuff, because that's also important, you brought that up, is you have to do good quality stuff, because if people see some crappy video like this one where I'm holding my microphone because I don't even have a microphone stand, and you know, I'm out of focus, or you know, I'm not lit properly, they don't really respect it as much as if they see a really good quality stuff. It's just something that people are just used to, because they see on their big flat screen TVs all this mainstream media stuff, and so they assume this must be the real information because it's so well produced, and the audio is always perfect, the video is always perfect. So it's really important to do really good stuff, and as you pointed out earlier, it doesn't cost a lot to do. Yeah,
but the content on mainstream media is utter cornfield crap. It is the worst of the worst. I mean, the media ultimately has the power to do anything. They're the ones framing the issues that are happening, whether it's I Can't Breathe or the Eric Garner situations. They are the ones who are putting the scumbag Al Sharpton there and the warmonger Rudy Giuliani. That's the debate that we have to hear. We don't get to hear from the actual people, from all these different issues that are interwoven in this. No. It's Al Sharpton, race baiting, and Giuliani, fear mongering. No. But with the power that we have, you know, they have that professional makeup and the looks and the lights and all that. If we could get people out there in the streets active, ready to not only look for stories, but get them in a professional manner where the audio's clear, the video's good, that's a game changer. That is an absolute game changer. There's no reason people should be listening to the crap on TV unless people are. The advertising, especially for TV, has been going down. What has been going up, and I talked this, and I learned about this recently. This is going to be actually another topic that we're releasing on Change Media University in just a few days, about how localized news, how small niche mom and pop newspapers and local media organizations are actually going up. Their value, their worth is going up. But mainstream media organizations who are bought up by hedge funds, who are being gutted from the inside, their investigative journalism departments totally destroyed because the hedge fund is trying to make more money, those are the ones who are going to be non-existent soon because of internal pressure and of external pressure. So we go into depth about the changing media landscape. There's a reason people like Ben Swan, who was working for Fox for what, over 10 years? I don't know for sure, but Ben Swan worked for Fox News, for an established media organization. And he said, you know what, screw it. I'm going to YouTube. I'm doing my own thing.
And he seems to be doing very well as well. He's a past Anarchast guest. Of course, we met up with him in Chile. And he's doing amazing work. So that's just one example of a person who's out there and really rocking it. And we need a bunch more like it. And
he's
also
still doing his independent thing, and now he's contracting for RT as well. But there's other people. You see Larry King going from CNN all the way to RT now as well.
I hear Ron Paul might go on RT now.
It's very possible. So you see this kind of changing dynamic that's happening. That really, like, if you know where to go, if you know the avenue that you could walk down, and if you work smart, you don't have to work hard. But if you work efficiently and if you work intelligently, the road is paved for you. It's there. It's all about you just finding it and deciding, you know what, I'm going to go down this road. Instead of working a crappy, horrible job that's going to make me a slave and look back on my life and feel miserable because I never lived my dream and I never did what I truly wanted to do and I had no ounce of freedom. You decide what you want to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And for the first time this year in the U.S., mainstream media, the internet surpassed mainstream media as a source where people get news. And so the more that people can be putting out good content, and I'm sure fairly soon, I wouldn't mind being a part of it if it happens, is some sort of internet-based network that is 24 hours a day with live reports, real professional anchors. The internet is fast enough now to do that in full HD. I know that from watching Netflix down here in Mexico, that it's just as good as watching regular television now. And so there's going to be nothing but opportunity. And just the fact that people, high school kids, can find out about a lot of this stuff for free is amazing, Luke. Thank you very much for your service as always. And that other people who are out of high school or never went to high school, hopefully, can get this sort of information for $150, or they can even come down here and for $95 right now for the next couple of days, actually spend a day with you and Dan Dix is amazing. And I think we're going to look back upon this as all the sort of people that you spawn from this, from your efforts, is going to be amazing. And I think we'll look back in a few years and really just sort of laugh at how small it was at this moment in time compared to how big it's going to be in the next few years.
It's definitely changing, and it's definitely going in the projection of small localized media, small localized news, small independent mom and pop shops that are going to change the environment, that are actually going to have the power to tell the world the truth, because they're not accountable to any corporation or selling ads, because they're able to actually do something that's totally independent of it, still make a living, still kick some butt, but also be able to work towards truth, be unbiased, and be able to just be a mirror, like, hey, this is happening. It's so important, and it's something that we've been deprived of. It's something that sadly media has been very politicized, and that, you know, that happens for many reasons. I was just looking into how you know, the media here, when Rupert Murdoch took over Fox, how he changed Fox to this ultra right-wing kind of news organizations, which automatically made MSNBC go far to the left, made CNN go a little bit to the left, but how it polarized, and how everyone has an issue, and how sadly, whenever you take a side on an issue, whenever you just say, this guy's horrible, he's racist, he's wrong, instead of saying, hey, let's look into this, this is what he said, this is what, the more biased you are, the more kind of attention you get by the mainstream media. The more outlandish you are, the more attention you're getting. And I feel like there's also an element of that on the internet as well. Whenever someone says something stupid on an issue, they always get a lot more attention. But I think the main reason that happens is because there's not enough good stuff out there. There's not enough stuff to say, okay, let's honestly do this professionally, and let's look at this, this, and this, and this. You make up your mind, because we value your opinion. We value you as a human being, and we're not going to tell you what to believe in. We're not going to tell you there's WMDs in Iraq. We're not going to tell you the air is safe to breathe on 9/11. You know, there's so many just outright horrible decisions that have been made by the media that really dictate our daily lives. And that information, controlling that power of controlling information is the biggest power you could have. If we could decentralize it, if we could share it, if we could provide it ethically, and if we could allow other people to rise up and be able to provide that, that's going to be something amazing. That's a game changer. And that's, you know, what you were talking about before. That's what we want to do. We want to build a community, a network of independent journalists with no leader, with no central authority, with no one saying this is good, this is bad, but having the people who watch the videos actually decide, you know, what gets to the top with their upvotes. Not like Reddit, which is censored now and changed stories. I don't know if you heard this, but Reddit took down a report about the CIA on the front page recently. And a great article that was written about how the CIA was torturing people. They took that down and replaced it with an old post from 3 years ago about how Russia raped 2 million people in Germany during World War II. You know, so you're seeing all this manipulation. You're seeing Operation Mockingbird being played out right in front of you on TV. But the only thing you could do, you could sit there in front of the TV, be mad, or you could beat them at their own game and be better than they are and replace them. It's up to you. But we have that power right now that we may not have in a few years.
Yeah, that's true. They're looking at all kinds of ways to sort of turn off the internet or to censor the internet. So this is the time. This is the time to do it. Absolutely. Luke's led the way, and many others have led the way as well. And let's take it up a notch. The one thing I've learned about YouTube and radio and all that sort of thing is that people have ADD, and so therefore I try to keep these a little shorter. Although I could talk to you forever, Luke. But let's talk more on the beach in Acapulco. This coming February 27th to March 1st with your course on February 26th. Why don't you let people know where they can get the online Change Media University course?
Well, if you go to wearechange.org/Change Media University, or just go to wearechange.org, and the banner ad will be right underneath all the front headlines that we have there.
That's great. And for Anarchapulco, I know it's really hard to spell or even pronounce. I didn't even think about that, but it's too late now. For people listening on the radio worldwide through the Liberty Network, through Ian Freeman's network that's actually worldwide. We're going worldwide over satellite right now. It's just ANARCHAPULCO WeAreChange.com. I didn't think about that when I came up with it. Not easy to pronounce, not easy to spell, but if you just get even close on Google, you'll find it, and you can check it out. So Luke's one-day seminar with Dan Dix, we haven't even announced that yet. We just talked to Dan an hour ago and just confirmed that he's going to be coming down. That'll be on February 26th, and it's a 7-hour course. It's if you sign up right now in the next few days, it's $95. Just sign up for that course. If you miss that boat, you still have you're still able to sign up. It'll be $145 for the course, and then you can also register for the Anarchapulco conference, which is going to be 3 days with all sorts of amazing people, including Cody Wilson, Luke Rudkowski, of course, the Libertarian Party of Canada leader Tim Moan. We're going to have Dana Martin of Unschool. It's going to be an amazing event, so I hope everyone comes down, or not everyone, that'd be too many, but I hope a lot of people come down and really take advantage of this opportunity. It's going to be an amazing event. So I'd like to thank the great Luke Rudkowski for coming on with us, and this has been Anarchast, your home for anarchy on the internet. Peace, love, and anarchy.
This is Anarchast.